A new frontier, in a distant corner of the galaxy, where stars twinkled like diamonds against a velvet backdrop, lay Terria Prime, a planet rich in vibrant ecosystems and home to an ancient civilization known as the Terrians. These beings were not just intelligent, they were deeply spiritual, believing that every creature held a soul worthy of reverence. Their culture revolved around rituals that honored nature, especially apex predators like lions, which they viewed as sacred guardians. The arrival of humans. When a human expedition team arrived on Terria Prime, they were met with both curiosity and trepidation. Leading this mission was wildlife biologist Roy Reyes, whose passion for understanding animal behavior had earned him respect back on Earth. However, nothing could prepare him for what awaited him among these alien beings. As he stepped off their spacecraft, he felt an electric charge in the air, a blend of excitement and apprehension. The encounter. One fateful day during their exploration, Roy found himself face to face with a ferocious lion. The creature's jaws snapped inches from his face, its razor-sharp fangs glistening with drool. Instinct kicked in. Without thinking, he fired a flare gun into the air and shouted a command that echoed through the jungle. "Down, boy. Stay." To everyone's astonishment, the lion obeyed, backing off and lying down submissively. This incident became legendary among the Terrians. They watched in awe as Roy commanded this fierce predator, believing it was an act of divine intervention. Word spread like wildfire through their communities, transforming Roy into an unwitting icon, a human who could tame beasts with mere words. Cultural significance. As days turned into weeks, Roy became increasingly aware of his newfound status among the Terrians. They began whispering about him in reverent tones, attributing his actions to ancient prophecies that spoke of godlike beings who could command nature itself. This belief was rooted deeply in Terrian mythology. They had long revered figures who could bridge the gap between humanity and nature. VOS, a Terrian xenobiologist who had been observing Roy closely, soon became his self-appointed disciple. He insisted on accompanying Roy on all future expeditions, eager to learn more about this beast master. Together, they traversed lush forests and towering mountains, exploring not just physical landscapes, but also cultural boundaries that had never before been crossed. A call for investigation. Back on Earth, news of Roy's encounter reached authorities at the Global Xenobiology Institute. Dr. Kenji Nakamura, head of the institute, was particularly concerned about how this incident could spiral into something much larger than anyone anticipated. He summoned Roy back to Earth for an urgent meeting. "Roy," Dr. Nakamura began as he paced behind his desk, "this prayer craze has gotten out of hand. We need to get to the bottom of this before it spirals into a full-blown cultural crisis." Roy nodded solemnly. He understood all too well what was at stake. His accidental discovery had ignited a fervor among the Terrians, a fervor that could lead to misunderstandings or even conflict between humans and aliens. A mission begins. Dr. Nakamura tasked Roy with leading an investigative team to uncover why the Terrians had begun incorporating human phrases into their religious practices, specifically focusing on his command, "Down, boy. Stay." Accompanying him would be BOS and Dr. Lena Sorensen, a renowned xenopsychologist known for her expertise in alien cultures. As preparations began for their journey back to Terria Prime, Roy felt a mix of excitement and dread. What truths lay ahead? Would he be able to navigate this complex web of belief without shattering it? Arrival at Terria Prime. Upon landing back on Terria Prime, they were greeted by throngs of adoring Terrians clamoring for a glimpse of their revered beastmaster. The atmosphere was electric. It felt as if they were stepping onto sacred ground, where every step echoed with history. They were whisked away to meet High Priestess Erilyn in her grand temple, a magnificent structure adorned with intricate carvings that told stories of ancient beings who once walked among them. Erilyn welcomed them warmly but with an air of seriousness that made it clear she understood the weight of their mission. "Your arrival is foretold in our legends," she said reverently. You are here to help us understand our connection to these divine beings. Roy felt a chill run down his spine. He had not anticipated being woven into their mythology so intricately. As he listened to Erilyn recount tales from ancient scriptures about powerful beings who commanded fierce creatures with divine words, he couldn't help but wonder how much truth lay behind these legends. Conclusion. As night fell over Terria Prime, casting shadows across its vibrant landscapes, Roy found himself grappling with questions about faith, identity, and responsibility. He was no longer just a scientist. He had become part of something much larger than himself, a bridge between two worlds that had once been separated by light years, but were now intertwined by belief. Little did he know that this journey would challenge everything he thought he knew about humanity's place in the cosmos, and set in motion events that would forever alter both human and Terrian destinies. This sets up an engaging foundation for further exploration in subsequent parts, while maintaining intrigue surrounding cultural intersections between humans and aliens. A new status. As the dust settled from the astonishing lion encounter, Roy Rice found himself thrust into an unexpected role, one that he never sought but could not escape. The Terrians, with their deep-rooted beliefs and spiritual fervor, had elevated him to the status of a divine figure. Whispers of his prowess echoed through their communities, and soon he was known as the Beast Master, a title that both flattered and frightened him. The devotion of BOS, the Terrian xenobiologist who had witnessed Roy's remarkable command over the lion, became his most fervent disciple. With wide eyes filled with admiration, he followed Roy everywhere, eager to learn the secrets behind his newfound abilities. "You must teach me, Great One," BOS insisted one afternoon as they walked through a lush Terrian forest. "The legends speak of a human who can tame beasts with mere words. You are that human." Roy felt a mixture of pride and unease. He was just a wildlife biologist. His command over the lion had been instinctual and fueled by adrenaline. How could he explain that it was not divinity but sheer luck? Yet, as he saw the reverence in BOS's eyes, he realized that his actions had consequences far beyond his understanding. Cultural tensions. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the news of Roy's encounter had spread like wildfire. The Global Xenobiology Institute was inundated with inquiries from researchers, journalists, and even religious groups eager to learn more about this beast master. Dr. Kenji Nakamura watched as tensions began to rise between various factions. Animal rights activists protested against what they viewed as exploitation of wildlife for alien entertainment, while others sought to capitalize on the burgeoning interest in interspecies tourism. Roy felt caught in the middle of this cultural storm. He knew that while his actions were being celebrated by some, they were also drawing ire from others who believed that animals should not be subjected to such scrutiny or control. The call for investigation. In an effort to quell the growing unrest and gain clarity on the situation, Dr. Nakamura summoned Roy back to Earth for an urgent meeting. As Roy entered the austere office filled with holographic displays and reports, he could sense the gravity of the situation. "Roy," Dr. Nakamura began, his brow furrowed with concern. "This prayer craze has gotten out of hand. We need to get to the bottom of this before it spirals into a full-blown cultural crisis." Roy nodded solemnly. He understood all too well what was at stake. "What do you suggest we do?" "I'm tasking you with leading an investigative team," Dr. Nakamura replied firmly. "You'll be working with BOS and Dr. Lena Sorensen, our leading expert in alien psychology." Preparing for return. With urgency in their hearts, Roy and his team prepared for their return journey to Terria Prime. As they boarded their spacecraft, Roy couldn't shake off a sense of foreboding mixed with excitement. What truths awaited them? Would they uncover more about the Terrians' beliefs or perhaps even about himself? Upon landing back on Terria Prime, they were greeted by throngs of adoring Terrians clamoring for a glimpse of their revered Beastmaster. The atmosphere was electric. It felt as if they were stepping onto sacred ground where every step echoed with history. Meeting High Priestess Erilyn. They were soon whisked away to meet High Priestess Erilyn in her grand temple, a magnificent structure adorned with intricate carvings that told stories of ancient beings who once walked among them. Erilyn welcomed them warmly, but with an air of seriousness that made it clear she understood the weight of their mission. "Your arrival is foretold in our legends," she said reverently. "You are here to help us understand our connection to these divine beings." As Erilyn spoke about ancient scriptures detailing powerful beings who commanded fierce creatures with divine words, Roy felt a chill run down his spine. He had not anticipated being woven into their mythology so intricately. Uncovering ancient legends. As days turned into weeks, Roy and his team delved deeper into Terrian history and culture. They uncovered startling revelations about ancient Terrians who once worshipped technologically advanced aliens known as the progenitors, beings capable of controlling animals through advanced neural implants. Dr. Sorensen speculated aloud during one session. Could it be that these progenitors visited Earth in the distant past? If they left behind remnants of their technology, it could explain your seemingly miraculous ability to command that lion. The discovery only fueled Terrian belief in human divinity, leading to a surge in pilgrimages to Earth from eager Terrians wanting to witness this power firsthand. A growing industry. Back on Earth, entrepreneurs wasted no time setting up prayer lodges near wildlife reserves, offering Terrians opportunities to observe humans interacting with apex predators like lions and elephants. This burgeoning industry brought both excitement and concern. While it promised economic benefits through interspecies tourism, it also raised ethical questions about animal welfare. Roy found himself caught in heated debates between various factions during meetings at the Global Xenobiology Institute. Animal rights activists confronted him passionately. "How can you stand by while these creatures are exploited for alien entertainment?" one protester demanded angrily. "I understand your concerns," Roy replied calmly but firmly. "We're working to ensure that animal welfare is prioritized." The shadowy figure. Amidst this chaos emerged whispers about a shadowy figure known only as the Lion King, a mysterious individual rumored to be orchestrating events from behind the scenes. Speculation ran rampant. Was this figure manipulating both humans and Terrians for some grander scheme? Late one night, while reviewing data in his office, Dr. Sorensen burst in excitedly holding a tablet displaying grainy footage of Roy's original lion encounter. "Roy, you need to see this," she exclaimed breathlessly. As he watched intently, he noticed something peculiar, a faint shimmer in the air, just before he fired the flare gun. "What am I looking at?" Roy asked curiously. Dr. Sorensen pointed at the anomaly on screen. "That distortion matches energy signatures we found in Terrian ruins. I think someone was there using progenitor technology to influence the lion's behavior." The implications hit Roy like a thunderbolt. Could the Lion King have orchestrated this entire situation? Preparing for action. With this new lead igniting their investigation further, Roy and his team prepared for what would become their most daring expedition yet. A journey to a distant planet rumored to hold ruins from progenitor civilization. As they boarded their ship once again, Roy felt an overwhelming sense of urgency mixed with dread. They were on the cusp of uncovering truths that could reshape both human and Terrian societies forever. With engines humming to life beneath them, they lifted off into the starry expanse above, each member lost in thought about what awaited them among ancient ruins and whether they would confront the Lion King once more. This part builds upon the foundations laid in Part 1, while introducing new conflicts and characters that deepen both tension and intrigue within the narrative. The call to adventure. With the revelations from the Terrian ruins still fresh in their minds, Roy Rice and his team prepared for a journey that would take them deeper into the heart of Terrian culture. The weight of their discoveries pressed heavily on their shoulders. They were not just scientists anymore, but bearers of knowledge that could alter the course of history for both humans and Terrians. As they gathered their equipment and finalized their plans, excitement mingled with anxiety. "Are we ready for this?" Dr. Lena Sorensen asked, her voice steady yet tinged with uncertainty. She had been instrumental in deciphering the ancient texts and understanding the implications of their findings. Roy nodded, determination shining in his eyes. We have to be. If we can prove the connection between humans and the progenitors, it could change everything. BOS, the Terrian xenobiologist, who had become Roy's most devoted ally, chimed in with enthusiasm. The High Priestess Erilyn believes that our journey will reveal even more about our shared history. The Terrians are eager to learn. Touching down on Terria Prime, as their ship descended through the atmosphere of Terria Prime, Roy gazed out at the vibrant landscapes below. Lush forests teeming with life, towering mountains cloaked in mist, and sprawling cities that blended harmoniously with nature. The beauty of this alien world was breathtaking, yet it was overshadowed by the gravity of their mission. Upon landing, they were greeted by a throng of adoring Terrians who had come to witness the arrival of their revered Beastmaster and his team. They cheered and chanted, their voices echoing through the air like a melodic symphony. Roy felt a mix of pride and trepidation as he stepped off the ship, aware that every move he made was being scrutinized. "Welcome back, Great One," Bios exclaimed, bowing deeply before Roy. The gesture made Roy feel both honored and uncomfortable. He was just a scientist trying to understand a complex culture. Meeting High Priestess Erilyn again. They were soon led to the grand temple where High Priestess Erilyn awaited them. The temple was an architectural marvel, adorned with intricate carvings that told stories of ancient beings who once walked among them. Erilyn's presence was commanding yet warm, her eyes sparkling with wisdom as she welcomed them. "Your return is a blessing," she said, her voice resonating with authority. "The spirits have guided you back to us for a reason." Roy felt a shiver run down his spine as he realized how deeply intertwined his fate was with that of the Terrians. "We've come to learn more about the progenitors and our connection to your legends," he explained. Erilyn nodded thoughtfully. "The progenitors were powerful beings who gifted us knowledge and technology. They taught us how to live in harmony with nature and respect all creatures." Unraveling ancient texts. Over the next few days, Roy and his team immersed themselves in Terrian culture, studying ancient texts and participating in rituals that honored nature's fierce predators. They learned about the deep respect Terrians held for these animals, how they believed each creature embodied a spirit that connected them to the cosmos. During one particularly enlightening session, Dr. Sorensen translated an ancient scripture that spoke of a time when humans and Terrians coexisted peacefully under the guidance of the progenitors. This passage suggests that humans were once revered as guardians, she explained, her eyes wide with excitement. "It aligns perfectly with what we've discovered about your abilities." Roy listened intently as she continued to unravel the mysteries hidden within these texts. He felt a growing sense of responsibility. If they could prove this connection, it might help bridge the gap between their species. A surprising revelation. One evening, while exploring a secluded part of the temple grounds, Roy stumbled upon an ancient mural depicting humans alongside Terrians commanding fierce beasts in unison. The image struck him like lightning. It was a visual representation of everything they had been studying. "Look at this," he called out to Lena and Bios as they joined him. "This mural shows our ancestors working together with your people." Bios gazed at it in awe, tracing his fingers over the intricate details. "It is said that those who can command beasts possess divine power," he murmured reverently. Roy shook his head gently. "This isn't about divinity. It's about understanding how we can coexist." He felt compelled to share this perspective with both humans and Terrians alike. The growing pilgrimage. As news spread about Roy's discoveries among both humans and Terrians, a surge of interest erupted on Earth. Pilgrimages began as Terrians flocked to see firsthand what they believed was divine power manifested through Roy's actions. Entrepreneurs seized this opportunity by establishing prayer lodges near wildlife reserves, where tourists could witness interactions between humans and apex predators. While some viewed this as an opportunity for cultural exchange and understanding, others raised concerns about animal welfare and exploitation for profit. Protests erupted across various factions. Animal rights activists demanded stricter regulations, while religious groups called for reverence toward nature. Roy found himself at the center of these debates, often caught between conflicting interests. During one heated meeting at the Global Xenobiology Institute, an activist confronted him passionately. "How can you stand by while these creatures are exploited for alien entertainment?" she demanded angrily. "I understand your concerns," Roy replied calmly but firmly. "We're working to ensure that animal welfare is prioritized." Whispers of the Lion King. Amidst this chaos emerged whispers about a shadowy figure known only as the Lion King, a mysterious individual rumored to be orchestrating events from behind the scenes. Speculation ran rampant. Was this figure manipulating both humans and Terrians for some grander scheme? Late one night, while reviewing data in his office, Dr. Sorensen burst in excitedly holding a tablet displaying grainy footage from Roy's original lion encounter. "Roy, you need to see this," she exclaimed breathlessly. As he watched intently, he noticed something peculiar, a faint shimmer in the air, just before he fired the flare gun. "What am I looking at?" Roy asked curiously. Dr. Sorensen pointed at the anomaly on screen. "That distortion matches energy signatures we found in Terrian ruins. I think someone was there using progenitor technology to influence the lion's behavior." The implications hit Roy like a thunderbolt. Could the Lion King have orchestrated this entire situation? Preparing for action. With this new lead igniting their investigation further, Roy and his team prepared for what would become their most daring expedition yet, a journey to a distant planet rumored to hold ruins from progenitor civilization. As they boarded their ship once again, Roy felt an overwhelming sense of urgency mixed with dread. They were on the cusp of uncovering truths that could reshape both human and Terrian societies forever. With engines humming to life beneath them, they lifted off into the starry expanse above, each member lost in thought about what awaited them among ancient ruins and whether they would confront the Lion King once more. This part continues building on character development while introducing new conflicts surrounding cultural misunderstandings and ethical dilemmas regarding animal treatment, all while maintaining an engaging narrative flow suitable for storytelling purposes. A new mission. As the sleek interstellar vessel soared through the vast expanse of space, Roy Rice felt a mix of anticipation and dread. They were on their way to Kyber 9, a planet rumored to hold the remnants of a progenitor city, and with it, answers that could change everything. The implications of their previous discoveries weighed heavily on him. The progenitors had not only influenced Terrian culture, but potentially human history as well. "Prepare for landing," Roy announced, his voice steady despite the turmoil in his mind. He glanced at Dr. Lena Sorensen and BOS, who were seated nearby, both focused on their respective tasks. Lena was reviewing data from their previous missions, while BOS was eagerly scanning the star map, his alien eyes wide with excitement. Touching down on Kyber 9. As they descended onto Kyber 9's rugged terrain, Roy marveled at the alien landscape before him. The air shimmered with iridescent dust, and the ruins of an ancient metropolis loomed on the horizon like ghosts from a forgotten era. It was both beautiful and haunting. "Look at that," BOS exclaimed, pointing toward a cluster of dilapidated structures overgrown with bioluminescent vines. "Those must be the remains of the progenitor civilization." Roy nodded, feeling the surge of determination. "Let's see what secrets they left behind." Exploring the ruins, the team picked their way through the ruins, marveling at the remnants of a civilization lost to time. Massive stone columns lay toppled, their surfaces etched with intricate symbols that pulsed with a faint blue light. Each step felt like a journey into history, a chance to uncover truths that had been buried for millennia. "Over here," Roy called out, brushing aside a tangle of phosphorescent flora to reveal a hidden entrance. The group descended into darkness, their path illuminated by the eerie glow of their equipment. As they entered a vast chamber untouched for ages, holographic displays flickered to life, bathing the room in soft, pulsating light. Roy approached a central console, his fingers hovering over unfamiliar controls. "Careful," Lena warned, her voice tense. "We don't know what we're dealing with." The holographic revelation. Before she could finish her warning, the room hummed to life. Streams of data cascaded across the walls, filling the air with shimmering projections of DNA strands, neural networks, and unfamiliar creatures. Roy's heart raced as he absorbed the information flooding his senses. "It's all here," he breathed in awe. "The progenitor animal control technology, their experiments." BOS reverently touched a holographic representation of a neural implant. "Our legends speak of such marvels," he said in hushed tones. "To see them with my own eyes." As they delved deeper into the archives, the true scope of progenitor work became clear. Lena's face paled as she deciphered a series of logs. "Roy," she said tightly, "they didn't just develop this technology. They seeded it on multiple worlds, including Earth." The implications. Roy's mind raced as he absorbed this revelation. "So when I commanded that lion," he began hesitantly, "you may have been tapping into abilities passed down from the progenitors themselves," Lena finished. BOS fell to his knees, overwhelmed by this truth. "It is true then. Humans are the inheritors of the progenitor's divine power." "BOS," Roy said gently as he placed a hand on his shoulder. "This isn't about divinity. It's advanced technology, nothing more." "But if this information gets out," Lena interjected anxiously, "the ethical ramifications alone could be catastrophic." A disturbing interruption. Their debate was cut short by the chirp of Roy's communicator. Jack Ryder's holographic form materialized before them, his face grim. "Roy, we've got a situation," Jack said urgently. "The Liberators have attacked 3 prayer lodges in the last hour. They're calling for the liberation of all captive predators." Roy's stomach dropped at the news. "Any casualties?" Jack nodded solemnly. "Dozens injured, both human and Terrian. And it's getting worse. Their leader Cry is rallying more extremists to his cause." Processing this news was like being hit by a freight train. Chaos was unfolding on Earth while they were here uncovering ancient secrets. The Lion King revealed. Suddenly, a shadow fell across the chamber entrance. A figure stepped into view, silhouetted against the faint light from above. "I'm afraid your discoveries have come too late, Mr. Reyes," a familiar voice echoed through the chamber. Roy squinted in confusion as recognition dawned upon him. It was the Lion King himself. Before Roy could respond, an ear-splitting sound filled the chamber. He crumpled to the ground along with Lena and BOS, clutching their heads in agony as darkness closed in around them. Awakening in chaos. When Roy's eyes finally snapped open again, his head throbbed painfully from whatever sonic assault had incapacitated them moments earlier. The chamber lay in disarray. Holographic displays flickered erratically around them. "Is everyone all right?" Roy croaked as he struggled to his feet. Before they could respond fully, Roy's communicator chirped urgently again, this time with an even more alarming message from Jack Ryder. "Roy, it's worse than we thought. The Liberators have launched coordinated attacks on prayer lodges worldwide. They're using something to control animals. It's chaos out there." Roy felt cold dread settle in his stomach as he processed Jack's words. They had unleashed something far beyond their control. Racing against time. "We're on our way back," Roy replied quickly as adrenaline surged through him. "Prepare a full briefing." As their ship broke atmosphere and ascended back toward Earth, they watched in horror as news feeds displayed scenes of carnage, lions, elephants, and other predators rampaging through tourist-filled lodges, while their eyes glowed with an unnatural light. Back at the Global Xenobiology Institute, tension filled every corner as Roy and his team huddled with Dr. Nakamura and a grim-faced UN Security Council representative. "We've identified the mastermind behind these attacks," Dr. Nakamura announced gravely while pulling up a holographic dossier on screen. "Vors, a rogue Terrian general," he explained further. "He's been experimenting with progenitor neural implants and reverse engineering them to control apex predators. VOS recoiled in shock at this revelation. Impossible. No Terrian would dare blaspheme against sacred beastmasters. Roy felt pieces falling into place. The lion encounter, the prayer lodges, everything had been orchestrated by Vors to lure Terrian pilgrims here as test subjects for his twisted experiments. Formulating a plan. As they formulated a plan to counter Vors' mind control technology and protect both humans and Terrians caught in this chaos, reports flooded in about liberator cells joining forces with Vors' rogue faction. The UN mobilized its Interspecies Defense Corps, with Roy's team at the forefront of operations aimed at restoring order amidst growing turmoil. Days blurred into weeks as they worked tirelessly applying their progenitor research to develop countermeasures against Vors technology. Field tests showed promise, but time was running out. A frantic call. During one rare moment of respite amidst chaos and uncertainty, Roy received an urgent call from Lena, his partner on the xenobiology research team. "Roy, I've discovered something about that alpha lion from your first encounter. It's not what we thought." Before she could elaborate further, her transmission cut off abruptly. Panic coursed through him. What had happened? Hours later came another chilling message from Vors himself. "Your mate is quite the scientist, Mr. Reyes. Her insights will prove invaluable to our cause." The message continued ominously. "Come alone to these coordinates if you wish to see her alive again." Roy's fists clenched tightly around his communicator as anger surged within him. He knew it was undoubtedly a trap, but couldn't shake off thoughts of Lena trapped in Vors' clutches. Torn between duty and love. Torn between duty and love for Lena. And knowing full well that time was running out, he made his decision. He would confront Vors head-on if it meant saving her life. With resolve hardening within him like steel armor against fear or doubt, he prepared himself for whatever awaited him ahead. A battle not just for survival, but also for truth amidst chaos. This part concludes with heightened tension and stakes, while setting up future confrontations between characters, all essential elements for maintaining engagement throughout storytelling.